class. I just wanted to help you guys out with the first discussion board. So we're talking about deductive and inductive reasoning and scientific discoveries. So you can pretty much just look up any scientific discovery and then try to think of if it's inductive or deductive. So I added a couple graphics to try to help you understand it. I liked this cartoon. So deductive, essentially they're doing experiments to try to prove their hypothesis. Inductive reasoning is kind of observing and then creating a hypothesis, and using your observations to prove your hypothesis. So here's kind of a better explanation of that. So you kind of observe, make generalizations, and come up with a theory. And then versus deductive, you have a theory, you make predictions, and then you do the experiment. So just kind of, I don't know, I guess that's a little, yeah, they swapped them on me. So I was like, oh, wait, did I get that backwards? No, they swapped it on me. So deductive is the experiment one, and inductive is the observation one. So think of like observing the apple fall and coming up with the theory of gravity, or doing experiments and coming up with penicillin. So there's a lot of things. Most of them are either inductive or deductive. So just pick any like scientific discovery or invention that you can come up that speaks to you essentially. Here's, you could just search them up. This one was a big list. A lot of them are like the top 20, but there's a ton of them. Obviously, internet, computer, bicycle, even like nylon, neon, motorcycle, radio, um, sewing machine, all kinds of, I mean, there's tons and tons. We're still doing inventions. Um, my husband's been part of a few of materials inventions. So, I mean, it's still happening constantly. You can even do some that are really current. Like when I searched up like important scientific discoveries, they were like the top 20 in the last decade or this year. Like, so you can go far back or you could do current. It's totally up to you. I liked this one because it just gave a huge timeline, because most would just give the top 20. Um, so it like starts out with measurement, units of measurement as a discovery, um, which was interesting, but we don't get to some of the more interesting discoveries or ones that are more familiar until closer to the 18th century. You guys know Newton in the 16th century, but we're 17th century technically. So Galileo with the telescope, Kepler, we talk about Kepler's laws a little bit. And then we start getting a lot more happening, which is kind of fun. So you can pick any of these guys. You just keep going. So cells, Ohm's law, which we'll learn about. Looking for things that might be a little more familiar. Electromagnetism, greenhouse effect, germ theory. That was a big one. That was, he came up with, we need to start washing our hands when we're like delivering babies. So that's a fun one, or an interesting one to look at. And how that came about, which was more like observation, like something is not going on right here. Like I'm going from room to room, delivering babies, and we keep having all these people dying. And yeah, so that was, and then it was observation that led to like experiment that led to the proof and stuff like that. So sometimes it's both in some ways. Viruses, x-rays, so many options. So just pick one. You'll say the person's name, what the discovery or invention was, why it's important, and say why you think it's either inductive or deductive reasoning on how they came about it, whether it was through observation or experiment or both. So and that's all you need to do. Hopefully that makes it a little bit less complicated. And let me know if you have any questions. Keeps going. So take care. Bye.